Whoa, Smudge, you didn't eat all of your wet food. I mean, I guess that is kind of dry. Smudge, are you feeling okay? Smudgy? Mickey? Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Hello, everybody, and welcome, finally, to episode 1 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Um, so it turns out I didn't know if I was going to have access to the Snyder Cut because I don't have HBO Max. It's like the one streaming service that I don't happen to have, but it seems hooked up with like Plex and Crave, which I do have. So it turns out that I can watch it. It's just, I don't know. you know, sitting down for 4 hours. Just like most of the time I don't really have anything better to do, but like I don't know, like is this space and all that on my computer? Plus there's this and whatever. I don't even know. Um, yeah, I tried to do that rap battle thing just in time for it to come by, and just to acknowledge that just so that you guys know that I know that it exists. And funny thing is that I just found out, like when I was going to close the page to start up this voice recorder thing, it turns out that I hadn't even saved it. That's just how tired I am. I literally wrote that up and I didn't even hit save, and it just sat there as an open window from the period of time that I finished it to going to go and film it, and then what? Okay, anyway. Yeah, you are here. Like, what the heck? When I click left, like here I am with the Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's of course what's being advertised on Disney Plus because it came out today. And then I click left, and I get Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, which I swear, like I think I saw like 2 episodes of. I don't know, but it's funny because I almost thought that that was Wanda there on the left. Because, like, hang on, I'll show you guys. Hold on. Like, see, it's Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then that looks like Wanda, even though it isn't. And is that like freaking Captain Britain? And then there's some masked guy who, I don't know, is he a big character? Is he the Crocodile Man from Suicide Squad? I don't even know. But anyway, so I assume that we all have access to it somehow, one way or another. Obviously, this isn't the actual episode. This is me doing a commentary. You've probably already hit dislike on this as soon as you saw that it was a commentary, but hey, whatever. Nothing I can do about that except maybe put up a caption at the beginning of the video, but whatever. Okay, anyway. Why am I searching for it? Why don't I just literally go home and then Raya and the Last Dragon? Chris Stuckman gave that an A minus. He gave Paddington 2 an A, and I really like Paddington 2. It really caught me off guard how good it was. I still haven't seen Paddington 1, but I feel like I don't need to because Paddington 2 is just so perfect. But then again, this is a depressing time, so maybe I should go see. Okay, anyway. Okay, they actually gave the episode a title already. It's called Episode 1, New World Order. Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes realize that their futures are anything but normal. Yeah. Anyway, so, assuming we all have our own copy, put the time start to 0 and press play and have it all loaded and ready to go right... it's taking a while. Now, there we go. Okay, started. It started. Okay, I'm just gonna pause it for a second, and there we go. So now we should be synced up. We should be synced up. Music playing is what the subtitles say. Yeah, Cosmonaut Variety Hour said that we don't really have to have this super long intro every single episode, and I agree with that. Why is it black and white? That's Wanda's vision thing. Wanda's vision. It's WandaVision's thing for the first 2 episodes. And like, honestly, like whatever. If it fades to black and white, I'm gonna be like, wait, what? Imagine if the Falcon and Winter Soldier just happened to pull off the same gimmick as WandaVision, at least at the start. I'd be like, wait a minute, what? And this was supposed to be the first show, wasn't it? I thought it was Loki that was supposed to be the first show. All right, ironing some clothes. Mm. That's so weird how, like, it's Captain America's shield and it's just kind of lying there on the bed. But then again, if you owned it, like, yeah, like, where would you keep it? Wherever you kept it, it would make people go, like, whoa, what the heck? It's not like you have a safe. I mean, maybe you do, but, like, would you really, like, just keep it locked up there just for no one to see? Like, it's a shield. It's Captain America's shield. It's not like it's gonna get broken as long as you don't have Thanos or whatever. Also, yeah, I just realized because Captain America's shield did like break at the end of Avengers Endgame, so that's like a new shield that's made. assuming the same thing. It's funny. I can just imagine like if Falcon like tried to punch it just right now, just for the heck of it. Probably insanely hurt your hand. Like, is it immune to dust and fingerprints? At work, everyone's all, oh, that's a boring title sequence. Okay, whatever. I don't know. But at work, they're all like, "Oh, you should put the mugs and the glasses on the table upside down so that they don't gather dust." Like, mate, they're not going to be there for very long because the next meal is just a couple hours away. The windows are closed. They're not going to be gathering dust. And also, I just sprayed, sanitized the tables with chemicals. Do you really want me to put the mug and the glass upside down? Like the spots where their lips are going to be touching the chemical covered table. Like, whatever. Maybe it'll purify their lips just like that. Now, of course, I am probably just. Jesus, I thought that was Mark Ruffalo for a second. I completely forgot what that guy's name was, actually. I didn't even realize that I knew the name Mark Ruffalo until then. That looks like fun. I want to go skydiving. Yeah, so apparently the main conflict of this show is going to be that Falcon can fly and now has Captain America's shield, and Bucky Barnes just has a robotic arm and that's it. But hey, like, maybe can that robotic arm do stuff? I don't really know. I didn't really know much about Wanda and Vision before their show, and I don't really know much about Falcon and the Winter Soldier right now, but who knows? But anyway, as I was saying, I think most of us are worried that this show is not going to be as good as WandaVision, and I don't think it will be, you know? Kind of just a shame. On my MCU anticipated list, I had WandaVision as a number 7, I believe, and Falcon and Winter Soldier as number 16, and I stand by that, because, whatever. It's weird because with WandaVision, my official, as if that's even a word, my official ratings to me are that, like, I never felt like, I think that we can all agree that the show never got, like, episodes 1 and 2 felt really good and really refreshing. Then episode 3 and 4 were alright. Then episode 5, it was kicking it back up again, but then it never got as good as episode 5 again. So I give episodes 1 and 2 and 5 a 5 out of 5. And I give episodes 3, 4, and 9, the finale, a 4 out of 5. And episodes 6, 7, and 8, a 3 out of 5. And it averages out to 4 out of 5. Ooh, fighting, punching, kicking. I remember Cosmonaut Variety Hours review of the Venom movie. I haven't seen the Venom movie, but he was all like, there's a lot of fighting in it. It's just like, yeah, yeah, I like this. Yeah, I love violence. Sorry about that. I breathed into the microphone. Wait, what happened to the guy? Did the pilot die or something? What's going on? So I don't mean to be like making jokes in this video by using other people's jokes. It's just something that I thought of and I thought it was funny. This is what commentary is. And I gave him credit. I feel like my silence during these fight scenes almost makes it seem like I'm super invested in these fight scenes, but I'm not really. It's just, I don't know. I don't really have much to say because they're just punching. Okay, so Falcon's wings can block bullets. Okay, so where's Bucky? Come on. Is Bucky's first scene gonna be from the trailer where he's on the bottom of a truck? I remember I was talking to people and I was just like, I saw the trailer for Falcon and Winter Soldier and there's that scene where Falcon's like, "Did you just let a girl kick your butt?" And I was just like, I lost huge respect for Falcon there. Some random guy like looked at me weirdly. Like, come on, man. Like, believe it or whatever. People are gonna accuse me of being SJW or sexist. Like who knows? I can't say anything about gender without pissing off some people. Whatever. So are these guys? This isn't skydiving, but this is like something that people do, right? They're like gliding. They're essentially doing what Falcon's doing. It's just Falcon's got robotic wings. Mate, like, yeah, if I was Falcon, I'd be so worried of my wings just whacking into the rocks. But it looks like they're rather invincible, I guess. I don't know, mate. Like, I'd be worried. Like, it's so weird because, if it ever did happen that I did manage to like make a movie with my character that I made up, who can just build stuff, like especially like essentially a McGover, whatever his name is, but better. Like he could make these wings, and he wouldn't really be that worried because he can just make the wings again if they break. But like if Falcon's wings did break, which probably would happen at some point in this show, it might even happen this episode. Um, does Falcon know how he can get another pair of wings? Because I'd be worried, you know. But I guess that's just what life is, you know. Like there's that book about a guy who tried to make a toaster, and he couldn't. He just flat out couldn't. He went and patrolled the city, and he gathered up every single thing required to make a toaster. And then he did build a toaster. He did actually make a functioning toaster by just literally reverse engineering it. Like, what's so sad about it is that he couldn't actually do it fully by himself. He couldn't just make a toaster from scratch. He had to take a toaster that he already had, take it apart, and look at exactly how every piece fit in. Then he went around the city and found copies of all the different pieces. And then he put it all together exactly how it was in the actual toaster that he built. And he did build a functioning toaster by himself like that. Problem is, it exploded after 2 minutes of use. And, that's just what's really, really sad is that, I think he said something like, the age where we can build the stuff that surrounds us every day is like long gone. Because, yeah, mate, like I have a bike. I would bike a lot in the fall, and I'm planning to bike maybe even today if I have time, but I have to work and, um, you know, I'm gonna go for a walk with some people. But, like, you know, when I have that bike, of course I'm worried that's going to get stolen. Didn't I tell you about the guy at the time the homeless guy guarded it? I like went and just got some food, and then when I came back, some homeless guy was just sleeping by it and said, "Sick bike, man." And he said that he was guarding it from some other guy that was guarding it, and so that the lock was really good. And yeah, I know that's incredibly suspicious. He saw the bike, he inspected the lock, and then he took a nap by it or whatever. Yes, I know there is a chance that maybe he was trying to steal it himself. But, I like to think that he was just guarding it, because, I like to believe in the good in humanity. You know, Sorry, I know I'm not paying attention to the show, but hey, like, do you even listen to my commentaries? This is pretty cool. I just wish that I was doing it, you know? Like, I feel so weird about action movies because it's like, yeah, they're fun to watch, but like, I can't help but wonder, like, it'd be even funner to like watch it. I don't know, to like actually experience it. And there are movies where the action is like you literally getting like beaten up. So yeah, I wouldn't want to experience that. I wouldn't want my eyes to get damaged or my jaw that can crack and all that. I don't know. But like I make it do a cracking noise and I don't want something to happen to my jaw and then I can't do that anymore. But hey, whatever. Whatever, man. I don't whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It really it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. I have okay, do you know what? I'll stick the footage of me a few months ago actually like cracking my jaw back when it was really aggressive and I'll stick it at the end of this video. That's the weirdest thing that I could have said. Sorry, maybe I am just going insane thanks to the pandemic. I don't even know. What am I even talking about? This kind of reminds me of Indiana Jones. I just watched that movie for the first time on a podcast. I haven't uploaded it yet, obviously, but you know, but it's just this kind of reminds me of that because there's like the action and the oh my god and the journey and whatever, and now they're just kind of chilling, doing whatever. How long is this? I just realized I don't even know how long this is. Oh my God, we're 10 minutes in and there's still 40 minutes left. Well, it's more like we're 11 minutes in and there's 38 minutes left, but whatever. Yeah, I want a world that's unified without borders. I don't even get it. Like, there's no, like, anyone who's really into politics or anything like that is gonna be all like, oh, important. Because I remember it was so sad. I tried to explain to a guy how money doesn't actually have value. It only has value because we as humans pretend that it does. But when you break it down, it is just metal and paper and plastic. It's like, Canadian money when I talked about it last time. It's like, now it's made out of little bits of plastic rather than paper. And I'm not sure if that happened in the US or other countries or whatever, but whatever. Um, and it's not, like if you like, you can give a bit of money to any other animal, like literally any other animal will not see value in it. They'll just see it for what it is, a piece of metal or paper. Maybe a monkey will take it and like use a coin to like help bash a rock or open or something because he might just see the use in the metal, but he won't be able to understand how we see money. Like actual, oh, now it's like Falcon is missing Captain America, like Spider-Man misses Iron Man from Spider-Man Far From Home. But yeah, like it was so sad because I was trying to explain to the guy, and he literally was telling me like, just wait until you have a job, then you'll understand money's worth. And I was trying to explain like, no, I do know that like you have to have money to succeed in this society, but I'm just trying to comment on how unfortunate that is. Oh my God, it's War Machine. War Machine's in the crowd. But anyway, thankfully someone else came up and took my side and kind of told him how wrong he was, and then he just was like, this doesn't really interest me. We're just like, okay, whatever. Ooh, he said woman and men. He said woman first. That's so sexist. So he's giving like what, a press conference? He's like just staring at the shield like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I own this." Yeah, no, no, I know. I know. He's staring at it like, "Oh my God, like I own this. I'm gonna have to take a part and all that." There's like that constant joke saying that there's a million words in our language and dogs only have one woof. Well, not necessarily, isn't there like there's like a children's book out there about all the different ways that dogs can speak. They can say woof, yap, bark, ruff, bow wow wow. Like, and then they say, well, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And yeah, like saying, oh my God, I own this, and oh my God, I own this are two very different ways of saying the same thing. So you're telling me that a dog with one word, woof, has all these different ways and accents that they can use it to like to take upon every single word and every single the way that we say stuff? Like whatever. Dogs probably don't communicate as much as humans. I doubt that they talk about quantum physics. I don't know. Smitty's right here. Do you think about quantum physics, Smitty? Do you think about quantum physics? I don't know. Whatever. Someone likes to say that Smudge is secretly doing math problems in his head for NASA. Staring at the computer, I thought that something went wrong with my recording. But Steve isn't dead. That's what I just feel is so weird about this, is that Captain America, like, he's not dead. Spider-Man Far From Home was all about honoring Iron Man, who is dead, dead. And this seems to be the same thing as just for Captain America. But Captain America isn't dead. He's just old and retired. So it's so weird. Supposedly, I don't know, there's all these rumors out there, but supposedly Chris Evans isn't coming back. So they can't get Chris Evans in a room. But it's just so weird because Captain America, Steve Rogers, is still out there. He's just old. So it's just going to be weird, like seeing all these different threats come up and just thinking Captain America is just sitting there retired and not really doing anything, which, yeah, that's what he deserves, but like it still just feels kind of weird and almost selfish in a way. I don't know. Maybe he's old and just doesn't have the powers anymore, but I don't know. Who cares? I haven't seen Captain America Civil War, but that looks like a scene like after a funeral or whatever. What was even the funeral for? I don't even know. It's like so weird how they're grieving like Tony Stark and grieving Steve Rogers, even though he's not even dead. But it's like it's just so kind of depressing in a way, because people are always dying every single second, and we can't like grieve for everybody. It seems like the world only mourns when it's someone famous. Ooh, that was a jump scare there. It's Bucky. There he is. Oh, he's mad that he didn't get the shield, huh? Dang, man. What the hell? Is he mind controlled or something? Why is he killing a bunch of people? Is this like a dream or something? Is this a dream that Falcon's having about Bucky and he's like, oh, it's a good thing they didn't give him the shield. Hail Hydra. Just saying that Captain America said in Avengers Endgame and also the comics or whatever, I don't know. Feels weird. Avengers Endgame was the end of everything, and now it's just like continuing on, huh? Phase 4. I don't know. It's weird because that's probably how people felt about the Avengers too. I wasn't really into this stuff when the first Avengers movie came out, but it was probably the same thing. It's like, ooh, it's the big finale, but they're still just continuing to go. So, who knows what they'll build up to next. Okay, that was a dream from Bucky about his past self, how he was a murderer and all that. Yeah, there are all those plot holes about Avengers Endgame, like how Steve Rogers returning the stone doesn't make sense. Oh my God, I ended up in a internet debate that just went on and on and on. I was trying to explain how it just doesn't make sense because Captain America returned the Space Stone without the Tesseract, the Mind Stone without the Scepter, the Power Stone without the Orb, and he wouldn't be able to get it past that fire border, and he can't touch it anyway. The Reality Stone without liquefying it and putting it in Jane Foster's head. And we never got to see him interact with Red Skull, which would have made a good post-credit scene for a movie that supposedly didn't need a post-credit scene, but whatever. You can talk all you want about, oh, I thought it was very good that there was no post-credit scene in Avengers Endgame because it's symbolic about how it's the end of everything, even though, it's not the end of everything. But, like it or not, if there was a post-credit scene and it was just the scene of Captain America interacting with Red Skull on Vormir, no matter how many times you say otherwise in the comments, you would have liked it and you wouldn't have minded it. So now Bucky's in therapy? All your three roles. What are the three rules? Bless you. Nice car, man. Why do all the car? Okay, this is probably like a car shop or something, right? Because my car, well, the car that I use, is constantly dirty. We literally just go to the car wash and then I take it out for a drive and then I drive through a muddy puddle and literally half of the car is dirty again. Like the water, it gets onto the windows and there's a bunch of droplets everywhere. But it's sunny, so so I'm just saying, oh, okay, it'll go away. And it does go away, but it leaves all these marks, like sort of fingerprint-like marks, just a bunch of little water droplet marks all over the window that I can barely see out the right side of the window. So I try and wash it and it doesn't really work. But then the car gets covered in snow, and then I brush off the snow, and lo and behold, the marks are gone. And then the marks come back, and it's like, what the frick? Stupid God, and like I hate it when people are like, "Oh, God perfectly designed this world for humans." No, he didn't. Oh, I wasn't listening to the rules. God damn it! The whole point of making amends is to fulfill rule number three. What? Wait, what? You're making amends by punching a guy? What is going on? Like, I feel like I should know more about these characters. It's my bad because to this day, the only MCU movies that I've actually seen are what was the first one? I think I saw Doctor Strange once with one of my cousins ages ago. And then I saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Spider-Man Homecoming, Black Panther, Avengers Infinity War, and Avengers Endgame, and Spider-Man Far From Home, and I guess WandaVision, and now this. So I don't really know much about Bucky and Falcon, or Wanda or Vision. But according to the WandaVision Honest trailer, which I had to stop watching halfway through because it wasn't very good, they were just kind of pulling the obvious jokes. They were essentially doing what I was just talking about. They were hijacking the jokes from the show and essentially trying to take credit for them as themselves. But one of the things that they did say is that yeah, you kind of liked them in Civil War, and then you were like, oh, okay, in Infinity War, and yeah, when I saw Infinity War, I was like, oh, okay, I guess these two are a couple. It's weird, because like it's so weird how even though it's so weird because I was just talking to someone about like Star Wars 9 and the lesbian kiss or whatever that I didn't even notice. I didn't even notice it, but it's weird how in order for it to be broadcasted in China, they took away that scene. So it's like it's so weird. Like the whole point of that is to like like I mean the whole point of it was probably just I don't know what they're talking about. So now Bucky's ticking off the psychiatrist. But anyway, the point is that what he said is that, we have that scene in there almost to lecture us, even though we're more tolerable of that stuff. And then when it comes to China, a country that is completely against that stuff, they cut it out entirely because they want the money from China. They want people in China to watch it so that they can make more money. It's like, that kind of just completely takes away the message to just cut out that scene. I haven't seen Black Mirror, and I'm not sure if I ever will because it's pretty dark. I've read about a couple of the episodes, and I think I saw a couple episodes because one of my teachers was so confident that we'd like it that she played a couple episodes or whatever. One Bandersnatch was released on Netflix as a choose your own adventure episode. I was interested, and I started playing it. Um, but I quit after the first choice. Like of course, like when the first choice came up to either you say yes or no to agreeing to do the game. Like yes, of course. The first time I picked yes. And it didn't work out. Everyone hated the game. Then I came back and I was like, oh, I guess I have to pick no. Well, this feels kind of weird. But then when I saw him go like, no, I mean, I'm sorry, I want to do your game. And I was just like, oh my God, this is so uncomfortable. And apparently the episode gets like a million times more uncomfortable. So I'm glad that I quit when I did. But it's like, geez, man, like I don't like that stuff. It's so hard to make like a fictional story that people will actually watch? But so many people resort to action. It's like, why do we even absorb fictional media? It's like you don't want everything to be all happy with no conflict whatsoever. Otherwise, what's the point of watching? And people are going to be like, why do these fictional characters get to be so happy and we don't in the real world? But you don't want it to be too depressing either. There are some people who do like shows no matter how depressing it is, just like there are some people, probably mainly children, who will like something no matter how happy it is. But like, you gotta find some middle ground here. Like I feel like that scene was relatable with Bucky right there, where the psychiatrist or whatever was just like, "You've been pardoned. This is a good thing." And yeah, I feel like it's a lot of the things that a lot of us go through is that there are a lot of good things going on in our life, but in a way it can feel very unfulfilling, especially during a pandemic. It's so weird how like, a lot of people would say like, "Oh, you say God has made this world so crap. What's an example of the way that he made it crap?" And before, I wouldn't really have a direct answer to that. I'd have to think back and think of a direct example that something bad happened, and then I'd explain that, and then they'd be like, "Oh, well, maybe he was trying to teach you a lesson or whatever." Well, guess what, guys? Now I don't need that anymore. I can literally just say the pandemic. When people say, "What's an example of how God made the world worse?" From now on, I can literally always say the pandemic. Like, literally. I can always say, why did the pandemic have to happen? Whatever lesson he had, was it really worth it? And could he literally not think of any other better way to give that message other than by letting a pandemic happen? Like, holy crap. Like there are people probably a lot like me who didn't have to go through a pandemic. They grew up in a different decade. Like whatever, man. I don't even care. And there are a lot of things before that. It's so weird how like everyone was so traumatized by 9/11. But it's like in a way like that was a lot less severe. Like I'm not mean to like undermine it or whatever, but it killed a lot less people. It only happened in one location and it was over and done with after a day. Like it's not like something like the pandemic where it's like the most boring apocalypse ever. It's so weird to think that a couple decades before that, everyone was freaking out. Mr. Rogers was talking about the John F. Kennedy assassination, which kind of talking about what I was talking about a little while ago. As much as I hate to say it and make it sound morbid in a way, that's literally just one guy who got shot. It was literally just one guy. Like there was a Quantum Leap episode where Sam thought that he was there to save John F. Kennedy, but then he doesn't. But then it turns out that he saved someone else who was supposed to get shot too. And whatever. But it's like, it's so weird how people were freaking out over John F. Kennedy, who, yeah, he's the president and all that, but he's still just one person. And then 9/11 happened, which is a couple more, and then the pandemic happened, and that's like everybody. And everyone's kind of like, whatever about that. Yeah, it's like a future me stopping. Oh, I almost forgot to hit the record button. Kinda. I don't know. I kind of almost forgot. There was like a moment where I was like, oh no. Okay, so we're already almost we're literally more than halfway through the episode, and I feel like nothing has happened. No, boy, am I glad that WandaVision came first, because this just feels kind of stupid. It's like, whatever, I don't know. Like, what's even going on? I don't even know what this show is supposed to be about? I feel like someone's gonna say, well, maybe you know what it's about if you paid attention to what people are saying. And look at Sarah. She's meant to be everyone's favorite character. But it's like, yeah, I don't know. Like, before WandaVision, before the trailers came out, we didn't really have an idea what it was going to be about either. We just kind of knew that Vision was going to come back, and we assumed that Wanda was going to find a way to bring Vision back from the dead, which would have felt kind of stupid. And I'm glad that they did take the route that they did, even though, it was just essentially she was the one who brought Vision back. It was the guys, the sword people, that they brought him back. But at least when the trailers came out, we had an idea like, oh my God, it's going to be so cool, it's going to be about this or whatever. And then it was about that, and it was cool. And even though it dipped in quality very rapidly after episode 5, it was I don't know, like this, I don't even know what's happening here. So Falcon's trying to learn to be Captain America. Like you guys remember, like if you go back and listen to my first podcast of me watching WandaVision, the first episode, at the end of it, I was like, I really needed something like this. I really needed this because I was in such a bad mood. I was worried about watching that episode because I was going to be in a bad mood and I was going to be essentially kind of like how I am now. I was going to be like, oh, whatever, world sucks and all that. But I was very glad how like upbeat it was. It was perfect. It was over the top and happy, but like, there was conflict because they was trying to impress the bosses or whatever, even though I didn't even get that for a minute. It's so weird because I showed that show to my grandparents and they were able to keep up with the plot like I wasn't really because I was mainly focused on talking during the podcast so that people don't accuse me of not adding anything of substance or whatever. But like this is like I don't you tried the whole online dating thing, it's pretty crazy. Yeah. What kind of weird pictures? Okay, when he said weird pictures, I wasn't imagining tiger photos, but whatever. Yeah, so he's drinking beer like how I drink ginger ale when I come home. When I come home after a super depressing day at work, I just drink a bottle of ginger ale and then I just feel slightly better. Now, I don't really get the point of drinking alcohol. Like people do it so that they feel better about the situation, but it seems like they're still depressed. It's just they still drink the alcohol anyway. Is it like is it like, you know, not getting drunk but getting like, high? Like is it kind of like that? Like I never want to do drugs. And I feel bad for saying this because one of the big reasons for this is that I've heard that when you do drugs the first time, it really like gives you like this sensation that's like so amazing, but then you can't really replicate it after that. It's like your brain builds almost like a defense mechanism against that extreme happiness, and then you never really can replicate that first time again. Like, Jesus Christ, like when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, that's terrible. You really can drink, what the hell? See, like I know that like, it of course depends on the person of who can handle a certain amount of alcohol, but man, like I don't even care. I don't know. Maybe, if things get really depressing, I'll start to drink alcohol, which is a very pessimistic thing to say. But, like as of right now, I'm fine with just drinking ginger ale and pretending that it's alcohol. It is weird how like everyone was talking about drinking alcohol and stuff like that, like before the pandemic happened. Everyone was talking about how the world sucks and all that. And now we just wanted to go back to that. Yes, I know what I'm saying is depressing, but this show also seems depressing. It's just weird because this is like the first time that I'm watching an MCU show, doing a podcast on it, and it has the least amount to do with WandaVision. Because again, this show was supposed to come out first for some reason. Maybe they decided to put WandaVision first because they realized that people needed some sort of upbeat, happy thing. It's weird because this was partially filmed during the pandemic, like I think the final 2 months of filming happened in September and October last year. Jesus, last year, man, like Jesus Christ. The pandemic has gone on a while. I don't know. But it seems like almost like these are the scenes that should be shot during the pandemic because there are only like two characters and they're standing a good distance from each other anyway. But like, oh my God, man. And who knows, maybe they were, like movies and shows, like they're normally not shot one scene after another. Well, like if, like say this cottage, if you have a movie and there's a scene that takes place at a cottage, and then the characters go and do some stuff some other where, but then they come back to the cottage. When you're filming the movie, you're most likely not going to film it like that. You're not going to bring all your cast and crew over to the cottage, film a scene, and then bring them to the other place and film a scene there, and then go all the way back to the cottage again. No, you're going to save money and resources by going to the cottage and then filming both the scenes. You're going to film the scene that takes place before they go do something else and after they go do something else, and then go and film the other scene. And then in editing, you go do the other scenes. And yeah, like when I was a kid and I first heard about that, I was like, oh, but the actors, aren't they going to want to flow with the script? But like, yeah, like that's the main point of actors. Like Ryan Reynolds just watched Green Lantern in honor of St. Patrick's Day in the Snyder Cut. Apparently, he not only had he never seen the movie before, but he apparently has never even read anything other than his own lines in the script, which is really weird. How does he do other scenes or whatever? Maybe he's like, it is weird because, like, like a main character will go and do stuff, and then we'll have the scene where we cut to the villain and he's talking about his main motivations or whatever. But there, it would have been if Ryan Reynolds had only ever read his lines, then the villain comes by and then reveals all his motivations to the hero. The hero would actually look a bit weird and weirded out and be like, oh my God, I'm learning about his motivations for the first time, and he wouldn't even have to act there because he didn't even read that section of the script, or it was just the villain talking to himself or the camera or his sidemen or whatever. But that would be kind of weird in a movie to have the villain just explain his motivations twice. I remember when I was filming a video with someone else, and he was saying like, do we really have to explain the motivation again? But he was saying that in the context of this kind of reminds me of that fight in Japan with Hawkeye in Avengers Endgame. Why is the footage speed up like that? That's weird. Sped up like that, sorry. Well, it looks like he has mud on his face, but I think it's just a mask. But he was saying that literally in the context of, because we were literally just talking like, okay, this should be the villain's motivations. Okay, we've decided. Now let's film the scene where he says it. And he's like, but do we really have to say it again? And I'm just like, well, yes, because we haven't filmed it yet. We literally just wrote it, but we haven't filmed the part where the villain says his motivations. I don't know. It was weird because that guy was really smart in a lot of ways. But he was also kind of a bit weirded out. Like in Captain Underpants Book 6, when they go back in time and switch over the ice cream cone machine, the Combinatron 2000, whatever, and then they bring it to the future. If you read the book, you know what I mean. And then he's all just like, "Oh, but they changed the past because now they don't even need to go back in time now that they have the real one." And I was like, "No, they do still have to go back in time. They didn't change the past at all. Like they changed the past a little bit, but in a very clever way so that events will still play out exactly the same. Because their Combinatron 2000, the past versions of their Combinatron 2000 did get destroyed. And but even then, it was still a fake one, even if they saved it. So yes, they still 100% need to go back in time. This is very sad how some people just can't listen or whatever. Selfie, yeah. Yeah, it's so weird. How do you guys make a living, yeah? Holy crap, they're literally talking about the whole how do superheroes get paid. Yeah, yeah. Like it is very weird how the population got cut in half, and then when they just get used to it 5 years later, it suddenly doubles. It's weird, like, how they're talking about the blip, and we kind of had our version of that, but it was the pandemic. But, like, when the blip happened there, they could still interact with the other people who survived. It's just everyone was down and depressed for 5 years. It's so weird when people, like, this one guy, apparently you can't find the video anymore, but it's, like, privated or unlisted in a way. Like, you can still watch it, but you have to go, like, and search through other links or whatever. The top 10 worst Back to the Future mistakes. It's so weird, because, like, so first off, like, okay, so should I really break down every one of his mistakes? Okay, so hang on. I think I made a list somewhere. Hold on. Sorry, I'm about to go on another tangent that isn't talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier, everyone's favorite Marvel TV show. Bucky's barely appeared in the show, honestly. I guess it is more Falcon's show. Hey, what the heck? I know that I made a list somewhere. Top 10 worst. That's so weird. I swear I made a list somewhere. Top 10. Okay, called it top 10 BTTF mistakes. Okay, so number 10 was there's a scene. Okay, it was Biff coming back to 2015 not making sense. Yes, I agree with this, but the showrunners have said like, oh well, maybe it did. Do you know what? I don't really feel like breaking down all the mistakes. Can I just do that in another video? The point is that the one mistake that he did get 100% right is in number 2, where he says Marty and Jennifer and everyone, they go to 2015. Marty and Jennifer and Doc, they go to 2015, but the future version of Marty and Jennifer are still there, and they shouldn't be there because they left in 1985. And even though a lot of people would say that it's not a mistake, like it's so weird because there are the dumb people and the smart people. And the dumb people are the ones who agree with all 10 mistakes except episode 2. When in reality, it's all 10 mistakes don't work except for number 2. Did I say episode 2? Whatever. Anyway, the point is that yes, he's right. It doesn't make sense because yes, they do go back to 1985, but that hasn't happened yet. They haven't changed the timeline so that they go back to 1985 yet. Oh my god. So anyway, I don't feel like, oh my god, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. Oh my god. So it hurts my brain and gives me a headache when I think of people who are just like they went to 2015 and then they went back to 1985 so that they could grow up. So it did make sense that there was an older Marty and Jennifer. Like it just hurts my brain. Like guys, you're wrong. Just listen to the other people who are trying to explain how it is a mistake and we'll all get by fine. But anyway, point is, is that we see the future. Where was I going with that? I can't even remember, man. I can't even remember. I can't even remember where I was going with that. I'm so tired. I think I'm just thinking too, because like, I want to try and get this uploaded before I head to work, and it's 11:05 when I'm recording this, so I have to leave for work in 4.5 hours. 4 hours and like 25 minutes, which, is quite a while. But, I was hoping to get like a drive into or a bike ride or something. Whatever, who knows? Ooh, Falcon's gonna have to step up. Who is this guy on the TV? No, Falcon, like, I know who he is. Kinda. So weird, like, is this happening as WandaVision is happening, or does WandaVision happen later or whatever? Does this take place before? Wait, what? What? Is that Falcon? Is it Falcon? Or is it Bucky? Is it Bucky? Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? I don't know who it is. Why does Falcon look depressed? Um, I don't know who that is. I, I really don't know who that is. I'm gonna check the Wikipedia synopsis because I do not know who that is. So I don't know, that show was alright. Mainly giving a huge tribute to Captain America, even though he's dead and whatever. I remember like Brie Larson, oh my god, everyone's favorite human being. I don't care what an old white guy has to say about Wrinkle in Time because it's not made for him. Which, I'm sorry, Brie Larson, but that's more racist than whatever the old white guy said about it. If an old white guy's talking about how it's a flawed movie, you can say that you don't care. But if you don't care because he's a white guy, that is racist. I'm sorry to say. Anyway, what is he saying? Torres keeps Wilson informed about what he finds. Wilson wants to help his sister Sarah. Oh, Sarah was his sister? Okay. With the family business, but they are unable to get a bank loan. He then learns that the government has named a new Captain America, John Walker. John Walker is a U.S. agent from the comics, appearing in American comics books published in Marvel Comics, usually those starring Captain America and the Avengers. He first appeared in Captain America number 323 from November 1986 as Super Patriot. He is later redesigned as a new incarnation of Captain America and a few years later as a U.S. agent. So he's John Walker. But maybe it's another trick. Maybe it's another tricky trick. Like with WandaVision and Quicksilver and Ralph Boner or whatever, Stupid. Stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid. It's very stupid. Yeah, I was just listening to Brown Table talk about WandaVision and talking about how, there was supposed to be a subplot of Darcy and Quicksilver and Monica going down and getting Agnes's book of the dark magic from the basement or whatever, and that would have been cool to see. I don't know. I hate reading about what could have been because it just makes me so depressed about the actual thing of what we got. Yeah, I remember Wikipedia. Yeah, I think it was Darcy knows that Pietro has been recast, and then there used to be like a little number thing that would say it's talking about Quicksilver from the X-Men movies, which is apparently, according to Brown Table, what even the audio description says. Wanda looks ahead and sees the version of Pietro from the X-Men movies. Oh, look, now we're getting recommended WandaVision because we watched Falcon and Winter Soldier. I feel like Jeremy Johns. I feel like I grew up too fast. I feel like I didn't really get a chance to grow up, and now I grew up too fast. I don't even know. Whatever. Anyway, nice depressing commentary for a nice and depressing episode of television where we got John Walker, who I guess is a thing. Who's Captain Britain? Captain Britain's appearing in the Black Widow movie, right? Which might get like, isn't it just it has to be delayed one more time and then it'll be officially as delayed as many times as the New Mutants movie, which everyone was sad was a huge much of fuss for such a mediocre movie. It's so weird how they didn't like release it. They had so many opportunities to release it and then they end up releasing it during a pandemic. It's just so sad. Can't help but feel sorry for the movie and sad for Dark Phoenix too, which I hate everything point out that it feels like that movie just got defeated. But anyway, Smudge is meowing for food because he's fed in 50 minutes, so like 50 minutes because it's 11:10. But whatever. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing all right, hanging in there. Um, you know, like the video, dislike the video, but comment down why. Subscribe, and bye-bye, guys. See you next time. Yeah, it's like a future me stopping now. Jeez, I almost forgot to hit the record button. But anyway, and starting again. Oh, I almost forgot to hit the record button. Kinda. I don't know. I kind of almost forgot. There was like a moment where I was like, oh no. Okay, so we're already almost we're literally more than halfway through the episode, and I feel like nothing has happened. Oh, and just FYI, assuming I can find the clip and put it there, I'm about to play that clip of cracking the jaw. So if you find that stuff uncomfortable, maybe turn off the video right now. Yeah, okay, all right. Doesn't seem like there's going to be a mid or post credit scene, so yeah. Bye bye, guys.